Girls with ADHD, especially those who are inattentive, are less likely to be diagnosed because they don't fit the stereotypes most people associate with ADHD. Girls with ADHD can be dismissed as just being daydreamy or overly talkative, which means that many of us end up undiagnosed and left without access to the help that we need. Girls and women have been underdiagnosed from the very beginning. I've been in this field for 40 plus years, and I've been thinking about and worried about that issue from the very beginning. The DSM is basically the manual that all of us mental health professionals use when we're diagnosing people that come to us for treatment. And it's an official record developed by the American Psychiatric Association. And the DSM, when it comes to ADHD, the diagnostic criteria were developed a long time ago by looking at little boys that were hyperactive, impulsive, had behavior management problems. And they don't look very much at all like little girls with ADHD. So when they developed those diagnostic criteria, they were terrific for identifying the boys, but almost none of the girls got diagnosed. Only those girls, those few girls that look like the boys. So when it comes to diagnosing women, you can imagine what a bad job those DSM criteria do at identifying them. Even after diagnosis, we women have a very hard time finding psychotherapists that are going to focus on our ADHD challenges. I experience this all the time with women coming to my clinic. And what I hear from so many women is that they go to a psychotherapist who's a good psychotherapist, but the psychotherapist is focusing on everything in their life except their ADHD because they've really had no training in how to help us with the very real and very many life challenges that we face as women with ADHD. The good news is there's lots of help and support online for us women with ADHD as long as you go to trusted resources for your information. The changes that I've seen in the many years I've been thinking about and writing about and working with women with ADHD are just amazing. I'll share with you a funny story that when I and my writing partner were going to conferences talking about women with ADHD, and I'm talking maybe 25 years ago at this point, we were teased as being ADD wannabes, as if it wasn't very serious. Maybe it was just being a little bit messy or being a little bit absent-minded, but you don't have the real deal. It's us guys that have the real deal. When I think back about what was written about for women 25 years ago, they talked about being in the ADD closet. It was this hidden, shameful thing that we shouldn't have and we should try not to have. And women would joke about the chaos syndrome, which stands for can't have anyone over syndrome. In other words, they were so ashamed of their housekeeping and their messiness that they kept that in their ADHD closet. And I see a really wonderful phenomenon happening just recently in the past few years of women celebrating their ADHD. There's lots of positives about having ADHD. And I've often thought to myself, would I get rid of mine if I could? And the answer is no, because a lot of people with ADHD are creative and have energy, and we have more fun than an awful lot of women that don't have ADHD. So it's been an amazing ride, and I think women are continuing to advocate very strongly about making choices that suit their ADHD. There's so many changes that still need to be made. Definitely need to change the diagnostic criteria so that we can at least be diagnosed. There needs to be so much more research on women. Even today, 30 years after I started focusing on females with ADHD, there's remarkably little research that really focuses on our differences. So lots more to come, and I remain very excited about the field. Thanks so much for watching, and if you found this video helpful, we have a lot more content like this on our channel, so make sure to subscribe. When you do, you'll be helping Understood's mission, which is to make sure that the 70 million people with learning and thinking differences, like ADHD and dyslexia, can thrive.